There have been quite a few new makeup releases recently, so let's do a full face of new beauty. First up is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream. This is described as being a super hydrating, lightweight gel cream moisturiser. I love the original Magic Cream, so I was really excited to try this out. Immediately it's much thinner than the original. It's very smooth and sinks into the skin beautifully, and it also doesn't have a scent, so good for sensitive skin. It's quite visible how dry this side looks compared to this one, which is lovely and dewy. I was very lucky to receive this in PR. This one retails for £79 and the travel size retails for £26. I have quite oily skin, so the original Magic Cream could be quite heavy on me, but this is perfect. Next up is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I was also sent this in PR, but it retails for £10. I'm warming it up in my fingers and then applying it to my face, focusing most of the product in my T-zone, which is where I tend to get most oily. It sinks in really quickly and immediately I can tell how mattifying it is. It has a very nice silky texture and it's very similar to the original apart from just a bit thinner. I've been so excited to try this. This is the Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick in the shade 1, which is the lightest shade. I haven't had much luck with foundation sticks in the past. I always find them very cakey, but this is like a stick tinted moisturiser. It really melts into the skin, and as you can see when I'm blending it in, it's very creamy. It shears out as you blend it as expected, but the pigment is actually a lot more intense than I thought it would be. It's evened out my skin tone so beautifully and the finish just looks incredible even really close up. And how good is this shade match? It has to be one of my favourite shade matches ever. It's lightweight, buildable, seamless, absolutely love this. I bought it for £28 from Sephora. This next product is new to me. This is the Haus Labs High Power Eye, Cheek and Lip Pigment Paint in the shade Blush Matte. This was £23 from Sephora. I should have paid more attention to the name because this is very pigmented. I went in with the same brush I used earlier just to remove some of that excess and blend it out a bit more seamlessly. The colour is actually stunning. I think it's so beautiful and it's not too matte. As you can see, there's still a little bit of sheen. You only need a tiny bit. I squeezed out way too much. Now for under eye concealer, this is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer in the shade 10.5 Light C. I was sent this in PR, but it retails for £26, though I believe it's on sale at the moment for around £15. This manages to be lightweight, but also really high pigment. It's stunning. Then I'm going back in with that same brush from before just to blend everything in, bring the blusher a little bit higher up. Now for my face concealer, this is another It Cosmetics product. This is the Bye Bye Dark Spot Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral 11. This also retails for £26 and the coverage is amazing. This is my first time trying any Danessa Myricks products. This is the Balm Contour in the shade 1. This was £26 from Beauty Bay and it's actually a little bit orange. I was hoping it would be cooler toned. I'm just placing some on the high points of my cheekbones and down the sides of my nose and then blending it in with my fingers. It's very easy to blend and I don't find it to be patchy. Fortunately it's not too warm toned for me to use it as a contour. You can see it gives quite nice definition there. I'm blending up and away and trying to keep it as close to my hairline as possible. I'm taking my time with this, just pushing it into the area I want that definition. Once I was happy with how my cheeks were looking, I started blending in the nose contour. I always find my cream contour looks best when I use my fingers just because the warmth really helps to blend it out. Now that I'm done with my cream complexion products, it's time to set everything in place. This is the Haus Labs Bio Blurring Talc-Free Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. I bought this for £36 from Sephora. I'm not a huge loose powder fan generally. I find it to be very messy, but look how mattifying that is. I'm just using a Charlotte Tilbury powder and sculpt brush to apply it, by the way. I am setting my whole face, but I'm focusing most of the product on my T-zone because again, that's where I tend to get most oily. It set those cream products beautifully and it actually melted everything together really nicely as well. It definitely does have blurring properties. This is going suspiciously well so far. I'm really happy with how everything looks. This is another new to me Haus Labs product. This is the Bio Radiant Gel Powder Highlighter with Fermented Arnica in the shade Sunstone. This was £41 from Sephora, very expensive but stunning, beautiful, looks just like my skin. I applied it to the high points of my cheekbones, my brow bones, the tip of my nose and my cupid's bow. Because I'm so pale, highlighters will often leave a grey cast, but this didn't leave one at all. This was released in the UK a couple of months ago now. This is the Rare Beauty Brow Harmony Precision Pencil in the shade Cool Brown. I bought this for £19 from Space NK. The spoolie is really nice and firm, so it brushes up the brow hairs beautifully. Once I'd brushed them up, I used the angled pencil to fill them in. I really like the payoff of this pencil. Sometimes I find that brow pencils can be so creamy they leave me with block brows, but this didn't do that. I kept on making little strokes until I was happy with how the overall brow looked. I'm focusing most of the product along the bottom of my brows because I think it makes them look more natural. And then when I was happy with the shape, I went back in with the spoolie side just to blend the product in a bit more. The shade is a little bit red for me, it's picking up more on camera than in real life. So not my favourite colour, but I do like the product itself. The thin angled pencil allows for precision, which is always a plus. I received this Huda Beauty Creamy Coal Eye pencil in the shade Very Vanta in PR, but it retails for £19. And I'm just using it to tightline my upper lash line. I'm applying it in my eyelashes to give the appearance of a thicker lash line. And then I'm blending out any excess with my fingers on my upper and lower lash line. I'm not too concerned with it being neat because I want this eye look to look quite slept in. I've been looking forward to trying these next products out. These are the Fenty Beauty Shadow Sticks Long Wear Eyeshadow Sticks. I received these in PR, but they retail for £22 each. This beautiful warm brown is called Nut All Men, and I'm just applying it all over my lid. And I'm using a small blending brush to diffuse the edges. I'm taking it slightly up on the outer corner. I like to take my time with blending, so I'm just using circular motions to go back and forth. And then I'm taking any excess on the brush along my lower lash line. I really like these sticks. They're very creamy and easy to apply. They're also very blendable, but they self-set, so after a few minutes or so, they're not budging. I don't like my eyeshadow products to set too quickly because I like having time to play around with the shape. Blue eyes are intensified by warm shades, so I really like how this looks. I think it would be even better with a bit of definition along the lash line though, so I'm going in with In Big Truffle. And as you can see, I'm scribbling it on, just keeping it as close to the lash line as possible and then blending it out with that same brush. I think this deeper shade marries together the warmth of the eyeshadow and the black of the eyeliner. Otherwise I think the contrast could be a bit much. I'm also taking any excess of this deeper shade along my lower lash line as well. And I'm blending on the lid itself to make sure that there are no harsh lines and that these two different shades blend together seamlessly. I do have a few more shades of these sticks. I'm definitely going to try them. Once I was happy that the eyes were sufficiently even, I curled my lashes. The Modern Mascara is Vive's latest launch. It retails for £23, but I did receive it in PR. The one's quite large and slightly concave. As you might know if you've seen my videos before, I do have very sparse eyelashes because I used to pull them out from anxiety, so I don't tend to get on with many mascaras. And this definitely isn't my favourite. I didn't find that it lengthened or really separated my lashes. It is a very intense black which I like, but I don't think I'll be using it again. Having said that, I did find that it coated my lower lashes a lot better than my top. And while it wasn't very lifting, it didn't weigh my lashes down necessarily. This next product is such a classic and I don't know how I've never tried it, but this is MAC's Lip Pencil in Whirl. I received it in PR alongside a few of their other bestsellers and thought it was high time I finally try it. It retails for £17 by the way. I'm just doing a little bit of lip contouring. The product is very creamy. And this is another one that's new to me, but it's very popular. This is the Hourglass Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balm in the shade Lucid. I was not expecting such intense colour payoff, and the formula's really thick and juicy. It almost melts on your lips when you apply it. It feels so nice. This was another item I received in PR, but they retail for £35. I'm just popping a bit of the highlighter in my inner corners to finish off the look. With the exception of the mascara and maybe the contour balm, I think I would use every one of these products again. I'll link everything I use in the description box, and as always, please do leave any suggestions in the comments. Goodbye.